want to tell a story about doing things differently, which is something that I've come to discover is a very hard thing to do. There's so much pressure to go with the crowd and just blend in with what everyone is doing. While I often feel the pressure of blending to the YouTube algorithm very crippling and sometimes annoying. So this is a piece for anyone that takes the leap of faith to create something they truly want to see and is tired of the system.
I often much feel limited by the algorithm because and it's really bad, and it's not something I'm proud of saying, because there are times when I have an idea for a great film and somehow I just convince myself not to do it because I have this thought that it's probably not going to get views. Really the fear is being scared of putting so much effort into a project, that you're really passionate about, and then posting it online and just getting 2 views. I think a lot of that has changed now. I've really come to the conclusion to tell authentic stories as much as possible, regardless of the views. And how I came to this is an interesting story that goes as far back as me.
So I was in my room this evening just low-key brainstorming the next idea for a short series I had on YouTube called Old, when I heard the news.
Ari College of Education in Sokoto has announced the indefinite closure of the institution after a female student was reportedly killed for alleged blasphemy earlier today.
It was about the killing of a girl in Sokoto State, and the whole internet went wild about it.
This is not an acceptable way of thinking amongst their people. Because you see, no, I'm not. This same religion.
But then I came on YouTube and it was just so cool and aesthetic. One of my favorite creators was talking about it. Nobody's even talking about it. That's the sad part of everything. But I really want to talk about it. But I'm just scared, guy. I swear I need fear.
Your reason for not speaking up counts me because they did not speak up. I'll be unfair, honestly. Just if you feel strong, what you need to do is just speak up, be your person.
So at this point, I became really confused. I had a deep desire to share my thoughts. However, no one was talking about it or even saying anything.
Now, don't miss the point here. I'm not saying YouTube should be the new hub for bad news and terrible things that happen in the world. It's deeper than that. Now, if you check this out, it's clear that the story was something that was important to me. Somehow, I didn't tell it because I had convinced myself that this wasn't going to get as much views, because even the top creators around me weren't even talking about it at the time. And really, that's the sort of thing I really don't like about the algorithm, how it is a bit limiting, Where is that freedom to create, You just have freedom to have an idea and put it out into the world. But at this point, I was done playing this with the algorithm, man. I just couldn't, man. I was done.
Well, I'd already decided not to create stuff like that anymore. So I started to draft out all the crazy ideas I had before.
I just want to say, I'm not 100% sure this is going to work out. And I'm not trying to paint that story either. However, I'm just trying to be as true and authentic as possible in most of the things I do, rather than trying to blend to some algorithm to get views, And if it doesn't work, I don't think it's a waste of time, I think sometimes failure has a way of leading you to the right thing,
So one evening again, I'm scrolling through Instagram and I come across this video from Aina.
Africa is such a place that not a lot of people have covered. So everything you're creating about Africa, you're one of the first people creating it. Going out there to start making this content, we decided to start making content about culture, about lifestyle, about real estate, traveling across Africa, showcasing different countries, Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, and telling these stories. Most times when you talk about Africa, what the media usually talks about is like negative stuff, like war, famine, poverty, all of that. But there's so much happening. What even inspired me and kept pushing me to make more content was when I realized that these stories were resonating with a lot of people across the world.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people need to see more positive stuff about Africa.
And within less than a minute, I saw the true potential that was really in our hands. For the first time in history, we had the opportunity to tell our own stories and not some corrupt social media agency that wanted to push a certain narrative. Everyone has a different story, and this was actually our chance for everyone to tell their own story from their own perspective. So why was I stuck trying to recycle other people's stories? Because I felt like those would get me views. And in that moment was when I discovered the power of stories. Stories are how we document our lives. It's in our evolution, our day-to-day living. It's basically a tool for survival. Without stories, we would live in a world of randomness and no meaning at all.
For example, now when I consume Fela's art, which is stuff that was obviously created years before I was born, it sort of like takes me back in time and lets me know that these struggles that we face in this day and age in this country as things that did not just start now, they have been happening a long time ago. And right there is, for me, the power of art, its ability to capture time along with everything that is in it, that this includes emotions, experiences, struggles, and this takes different forms. It can be music, photos, paintings, books, the list goes on and on. And I've said this before, these films and videos for me are a way of me trying to document my experiences and tell authentic stories about what is around me. And right there is where I see our power as African creatives, to be authentic, different, and proud enough to tell our own stories. And this is my letter to African creatives. Be proud. Okay, so before you leave, please, I just want to say this. I am trying to turn this into a series, so I want to call it like Diaries of a Struggling Creative. So it's basically just me talking about and telling stories about like my struggles and the things I face as an African creative, and hopefully you find them relatable. So let me know if that interests you. It's going to be similar to what I just made right now. So let me know if you find that interesting. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.